Hello, gardening friends. Today is Sunday, February 26th, and I'm going to take you on a walk again around into the front yard. I wanted to go ahead and show you again the last of my inside amaryllis. It's got one other bud that's beginning to open. It will eventually be planted outside. And the exciting news is, I happened to see this yesterday. Ta-da! There's an amaryllis fixing to bloom outside. I only buy red amaryllis, and this is where they wind up going after every year. I've been doing it now for 30 some years. So there's a lot of amaryllis planted here. They tend to last, I'd say 4 or 5 years. And probably every couple years they'll send up another stalk. If you go back through the videos, you'll see I had 3 or 4 bloom here on this side last year. I'm sure there'll be more this year. But that's one of the reasons I only ever buy red. That way, when they come up from prior years, they're all the same color. Lily of the Nile is doing fabulously well. I'll be cleaning that up later this week. I'm also going to be working a little bit on my parking pads. These parking pads have had the weed fabric put underneath before the rocks were laid. However, after 20, 30 years, dirt does eventually make its way on top of the fabric, and you wind up getting a bunch of weeds coming up. And I've sprayed them for likewise many, many years. And so they're kind of resistant to the weed killers like Roundup that I've been using. So the only way to get rid of these persistent weeds now, since I've created a batch of super weeds, is to sit down and pull them up one by one. So I'll be doing that a little at a time. If you drive by, wave at me. The main thing I wanted to talk about today are the trees at the street. That big water oak is not the healthiest. You can see it has a lot of mistletoe on it, a parasite. When I bought my property, it was really a hedgerow that was at the street, and I've cleaned up most of it. But I left these 2 clumps of cherry laurel and this oak tree. That oak tree was about a 3-inch diameter when I bought the property. I should have taken it out years ago, but it's kind of the bane of my existence now. I used to have 3 other oak trees, huge ones, and this was the little sister. And about 5 or 6 years ago, the others were removed because they broke apart in a straight wind storm that we had. And they were so tall that they threatened the electrical wire, so the electrical company took them out for free, which is good. And they wanted to take out, I wanted them to take out this one as well, but the person from the city came by and said, "You can't do it, it's our tree, and we want it." So in any event, there's a very good chance it may be leaving, and I'll show you why. If we go out at the street, I don't often go out here because, for one, it's always crowded. And by the way, if you're in my neighborhood, you'll find out shortly, sometime this week, they're going to be closing off this entrance because they're going to be moving to over here. But last week, making a video, you heard me say at one point in time hello to someone off to the side, and then I continued on. Well, it turned out that there was a group of 2 men that came working on this project from the city, and they were concerned about my crepe myrtles back there. And they had asked how attached I was to the crepe myrtles. And I said, not very. I've always looked at everything on this side of my fence as expendable. And in any event, they said, well, we want to take them out. And I said, fine. How about these other trees? because if you look at them, these other trees don't protrude out, or the crepe myrtles don't protrude out any farther than these other trees. And I really wanted these other trees out. And they said, well, they weren't planning on taking these other trees out, including this oak. And then I pointed out, one good thing from all of this construction is the city did do a survey, and here's the post that shows how far their right-of-way is. And there's one on the other side of the tree as well, right in there. So bottom line, that tree is on my property, and I've got proof of it, and I want it out of here. So I told the guys if they don't take it down, I will. And so they're looking at removing it as part of this project, which will be nice. I won't have to worry about that tree falling on my house anymore. I never really worried about it before until one of the big oak trees in the back split and took another one out, and it basically filled my entire backyard and actually cracked the roof of my garage. And so once that happens, you kind of don't like the idea of a big looming object over your house. So hopefully, when they close off this road, one of the first things they're going to do is cut some or all of those trees out. And as I said, if they don't do it as part of the project, I will. At least the big oak. I don't mind the other two. Cherry laurels, I don't have to worry about them blowing over. So big changes are in the works. I don't know how much of this area is going to be destroyed by taking the trees out. No telling. The azaleas are basically not that rare. George Tabor, it's a common indica azalea. I can always get more. So it's a shame they're going to be happening right as they start to bloom, but we'll see what they look like when they're done. It is what it is. But more importantly, I will need to move this bottle tree very carefully, not to upturn any of the bottles, because it traps evil spirits. That's the politically correct way to say. It used to be believed that it trapped witches, but you can't say witches anymore. So it traps evil spirits. So you don't want to turn the bottles upside down, because it'll let the spirits out. So I'll be moving that bottle tree somewhere safe. Other than that, I did notice some more activity since the last time we videoed, which was not but a few days ago. These banana trees are growing hand over fist. They came back from the stubs that I left. You can see here, this one is shooting up. And this shoot is pretty much new from last time I videoed. It's amazing how fast banana trees grow when they get to growing. So, change is happening in the front yard. Spring is here. And hopefully, I'll be rid of a few trees by next week. But I thought I'd at least document what it looks like now. And hopefully, there'll be a big change soon. Have a good day.